Okay, so we'll get back to this if we have time. It's just important to understand that the word caged, when we build the string shapes here, we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is how they stack up in perfect fourth tuning. And of course, when we get 4 strings up, then we have to bring this over 1. Okay? So if we were looking at 6 strings only, cockatiels must be hungry. We were looking at 6 strings only there. Alright? And we'd have to bring this over 1 fret there. And so we'll put it even with the 4. We'll put this even here. And there. Now we're looking at the D box I played. Okay? So that's the pattern stack, and these are the string shapes. They don't change, they just move around a little bit when we get to the tuning warp, the tuning third between the G string and the B string. Okay? So it's important to understand that the string shapes, as we go to the right on the keyboard, they spell caged. And that's similar on the guitar. Now this is C tuned, so let's just look at it, and it's on every string, so it's C, A, G, E, and D. And yeah, you can start a D shape on the G string, and the key is C. Okay, that would be starting on, I guess, a C there on the G string. You can start an E shape, but you gotta immediately warp up the 3/5 there, and it warps up into a G shape there. Okay? And then back down a G shape. So we've talked about that a lot with the magic circle last year. And so what do we got? Okay. So similar with the piano in this respect with the string shapes, as you go to the right, you go to the right, you go in cage. Each individual string shape goes in the word cage. As you go to the left, we go in a pentatonic scale, and you just look at the same word and do it backwards. So we had that little ambiguity with, we're always reading a word in the Western world, whatever, wherever we are. I guess they call us the West, but really, so in the Western world, not the Wild West, we read from left to right. So now, but when you look at a pentatonic scale on the keyboards, it's C, D, E, G, and A. This is just an octave down and starting again. Okay? So we would have that A up here. We would have that A up here too. Up to the C again too. Let's see what we got here. Where are we at? I'm not sure how much of that A we grabbed. So I'm just going to guesstimate. Something like that. Yeah, we did get a little more of it than I thought. But C, D, E, G, A like that. And then back up to C like that. Okay? That was kind of sloppy. So it goes the other way when we're actually using when we're using keys on a keyboard on a piano to spell out a pentatonic. So cage goes the other way. C, A, G, E, D. When you're on piano and using a piano to do it. But the string shapes are kind of backwards. And the reason that is because the C string shape right here is 3, 4, 5. So you can see here 3, 4, 5. 3, 4, 5 is the C string shape right here. Okay, it's surrounded by other string shapes that are its neighbors, but the C is surrounded by either 3/4 buddy or 7 root buddy surrounds the E with the 2, and the 2 is shared with the D string shape, 2, 3, 4, like that. So here's your D string shape, 2, 3, 4. It's going to be all white keys if it's in the key of C. Right? The D string shape 2, 3, 4. So I put the label on the accidental. Now in the key, when we go to the key of G flat piano with guitar string shapes, those string shapes are going to be different now. Now, where we had the C, let's say the A string shape's just 5, 6. Okay, so we know the A string shape's just 5, 6. Over here we have the A string shape is just 5, 6. The short A string shape. The long one's 5, 6, 7. The short one's 5, 6. So we have 5, 6 here in the A string shape. But look in between the 5 and the 6 on the G flat. What do we have? We have an A here. Excuse me. Root 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay, so actually this isn't correct. The A actually goes on the D. The A string shape goes on that D. Let's fix that. Okay, so I fixed it. Yeah, my bad. I was a little tired this morning. So I had to move these over just one more to show you where these string shapes really are. Now they're no longer on the accidentals. In the key of C, the string shapes are on the accidentals, but that's the only key that the string shapes are exactly on the accidentals there. So this is a perfect example, and I realized while I was making the G flat chart that the string shapes can be applied, and the cage system, and all the other cages, the modals, they can, the patterns can all be applied to any key. And here's a perfect example. Key of G flat now. Okay, the root key, which is the E key. Okay, the string shape label is on the G, and here's your root, your 7 root 2 E string shape. In the key of C, it's 7 root 2, and there's your E string shape. Now let's look at the chart down here. For the key of C, we have the E string shape, 7 root 2, and on the accidental we have an E there, and that's the E string shape. Over here in the key of G flat, the E string shape goes on the G, and as you can see, I did do quite a lot of that this morning and got that straight on the guitar. So we've got 7 root 2 in the key of G flat, 7, sorry, on the G, 7, it's F actually, 7 root 2, and the A flat's the second. Whoa, I'm kind of like out of it. Yeah, key of G flat. Okay, G flat major, A flat minor, B flat minor, B major 4th, D flat major 5th, E flat minor, and then we have the F half diminished up to G flat major, and just follow for that Locrian F. So that's what's going on with the string shapes. Okay, and course, all the tripentatonics